Let's start at the beginning. Can you tell us about your childhood in Papua New Guinea? Where did you grow up and what was life like?
I grew up in a village, Ulamona village, and I grew up in a family of 10. Mom and dad, both subsistence farmers, just like every other parents, but devoted to Catholic Church. And our old man, bless us by, he worked for the Catholic mission all his life, and we all go through that, and obviously baptized and confirmation and Holy Communion with my firstborn sister, and all the way down to me as the last in the family. So, the bringing up was as per normal as Papua New Guinean families and in the villages, and Dad is a very church goer and got us family, and everyone was in the family got it, to be able to go to church every Sunday and followed by these rules. He managed our family with an iron fist, and his ways are the only way, which makes a lot of our brothers and sisters become very successful later on in life. So I'm the last in the family, and was very lucky and fortunate to be able to be managed by 7 other brothers and 2 sisters. That really gave me the support and as well the extended family. So did my grade 1 in 1980, and 85 I finished school in Ulamana Primary School and went to Biala High School 86 to 89. And then after that went back home to the village. Wasn't successful to go do 11 and 12, so decided to play rugby league in 1990 under 19s in Biala Rugby League club there then. And then 91, 92, 93, the season didn't get off until 94. Played several games in reserve grade and A grade. And then my brother saw one of the papers reported on the local rugby league and decided to bring me up to Mosby and to give me a trial with Paga Panthers, his old club that he played before in the 70s and 80s. And it went off from there, and I think I was just lucky enough that during 94, 95, it was a talk of Super League and ARL, which and I think looking back at it now, I think without that move from John Ribbo, and I don't think if that move wasn't done, I don't think I'll make it to be able to go to Gold Coast Chargers in 1997. I was lucky enough to be to get a contract in England 1996. My brother and his wife saw the clip on Postcareer, I think, during the time, and decided to give me a chance for 2 weeks in Mosby, and the 2 weeks becomes a month and becomes a 12 months in 1994. And the rest is now, 95 joined the Vipers, and 96 joined Hull Rugby Football Club in England, 97 on the Gold Coast, the Gold Coast Chargers, and 98 to 2003 down in Melbourne, and then back to England 2004-05 with Leeds Rhinos, Bradford. And going back to the question, the bringing up was as normal as all other Papua New Guineans that we all grew up in. Was just lucky enough in those era, or maybe of 2 to 3 years of the Super League war and ARL war, that gave me an opportunity.
What role did sport, and especially rugby league, play in your community and in your upbringing?
I think the discipline and being managed by my parents. I think that early discipline and early, I suppose, the family bringing up made it so much easier for me in my career. I always look at it back as following the footsteps of my brothers and how they were successful, and how they they how they talk to us, the younger ones, the younger siblings, about how Dad likes to do things, and continue from Stanis and to Alois and Martin, and the two sisters, the value of Mom and Dad, and what they want us, and what they want us, how our parents want us to be taught how to do things, and that is all working hard. So,
were there any influences, family, coaches, or local heroes who helped shape your passion for the game?
I think my brothers, my brothers, my elder brothers, their success in what they did, Stanis, and of course with the bank for many years, and look after us, the remainder of the siblings, and reminding us of what Mom and Dad's value. That was a highlight for me as growing up. And we all know our father and our mother, how they do things. Stanis went successful that way, and his success and his family. Our sister-in-law was still alive, Wally, and the family here in Mosby, and the brothers after that follow his footsteps. And for me to go in a different way with sports, which is totally different to their success, was they saw something in me that I think if they support me, then and they did, and that sort of blossomed in me, and that support that I got, and to be able to finance me, and Stanis was the only one during that time to be able to say, hey, you can do it, and don't worry about money, don't worry about, I'll bring it to Mosby. And so that support was huge. To bring myself into his family in Mosby, that plays a lot. That is something I'll never forget, and that is something that story is told to my three boys. Many times I said and every Sunday I said to my boys, we go to church and come back, and I said to them, without Uncle Stanis and Auntie Wally, I wouldn't be here. You guys, I wouldn't meet your mom, and you guys won't be born. I said only those two made it possible for me, and I repay them in what I did. I got to do it properly, and there are times that you go down, but those are my motivations, and because of them. And I said, you boys need to stand up and do what you're good at. You are taught well by, I said, your mother and I, and if you do those things like I did in 20, 30 years ago, I said, you'll become somebody. So that's something that motivates me, and my kids, knowing the story, motivates them, as the opportunity was there for them to take.
Did you always dream of playing professional rugby league, or did that ambition come later?
The ambition came later when I started playing rugby league in 1990, and then started to watch the ARL during that time, 1 week late or 2 weeks late, of course in the village, but I think in the early 1990s we on the State of Origin nights, we normally drive to Biala for 1 hour and hire the car and drive there just to watch the State of Origin. But it came in later because obviously rugby league wasn't introduced in schools. I was lucky enough that my brother and my cousins and relatives in the village introduced the game to us in 87 when I was still in grade 8. So it was introduced later on. I've never known there's a game of rugby league before that. So
you went on to become one of PNG's greatest rugby league exports. What do you remember most about your early days in the domestic competition?
To be able to pay respect to my brother and his wife, to repay them for bringing me to Mosby, to repay them for clothing me and financing me with their family, with their 3 girls. During that time, of course, now they're all married and have kids. But during the time, it was a deal that my brother said to me, you come up here and don't disappoint Dad as the last chief in the village, and we'll do it for him. He said, you come up here, we're all successful, but you come up here and do your best, and if you don't make it, you go back home. And those are the motivation for me, that I didn't want to disappoint them to see their roles in Mosby, and during the time he was already with the managing director of ICDC from the bank, long-standing with the Papua New Guinea Banking Corporation, and his wife was a long-term lecturer at in-service college, just down from us here. So that respect for them, and the humble bringing up and humble family that they have plays a massive role in my nieces, who came every Sunday to support me. That was something I want to give back to them. And I was only there for 2 weeks and a month, and before I know it, I was getting recognition for selection for the Vipers the following year. So it was only that I didn't want to go home and face the boys in the village that I came up to Mosby and fail. And like my old man says to me, he said, you gotta go and you gotta go and work hard. And if you don't work hard, you become lazy. You get nothing out of it.
So can you tell me, how did you move overseas to play, and overseas in Australia and the UK come about? And what were the biggest challenges you faced?
I was selected for the 1995 World Cup with the 22 other PNG Kumuls, Stanley Guinea, name a few, John Okul. Obviously, Adrian Lam was player. Adrian Lam, David Wesley, and Bruce Mamondo played a massive part in coming back to give us that motivation into playing for our country. And of course, we went to England, and I played on the reserve bench there, number 16. And after the tournament, I got selected to be able to get a contract for 12 months with Hull Rugby Football Club. And it started from there. And my family, my brother Stanishan, played a massive role in my career. By then he's been in and out of overseas and knew what it's like, how to live. Him and his wife been to Australia and other places a lot. So it was something that I learned from them, him and his wife, how to live in overseas. But I didn't think that I will go there. I will go there 27 years later. I'll be still living overseas. And the motivational one is wanted to be able to make it in the first grade. And the promise that my brother said to me is, if you're gonna make it up in with England, don't fail us. That a lot of the Kumuls come and go, 1 year in overseas and they're back. You keep going and you fight hard for it. Don't let the old man down. As the last chief, and those are the things that motivate me, and I can't let my family down. And especially old men still alive during the time was the motivational for me to, and of course the support from our big family, my dad's clan and my mother's clan in the village and the whole of Ulamona. And then I started to see the Biala district, the area, the support in West New Britain and Papua New Guinea. The support that they had for us, had for me in the early days. That motivates me to be able to keep working hard. To be honest, it was hard. Coming from the village to England wasn't easy. I did a lot of wrong things in terms of getting parking tickets, but I was cautious in having a beer with the boys, that I don't bring shame to my old man. I was more petrified of letting my old man down than my brothers and sisters. And going back, what I said earlier is the upbringing was the main tool that helped me through the pathways overseas.
you had a stellar career with Melbourne